Hello friends, you must have seen this particular video of mine before, but very recently I did bring some good number of changes, and for that reason I thought that I must let you people know about these changes, because AJAX is quite popular in our day-to-day activities, and the changes which I did bring will definitely help you to do the work much faster. So let's move on. Well, in this particular project I'm just going to work on a single app, and that is called stream app. My project name is third. Let me take you to the urls.py. This is the default URL, which is the localhost 1000. If I do that, it just takes you to the function base view, and it just open the base.html. And let me show you the base.html file as well. Simple base.html that gives a call to the CDN of jQuery. This is a custom AJAX code which I have written, and the rest of the code are very straightforward. Here I have a nav bar, and here is a footer. So let me take you to the nav bar. Even inside include, I have a nav bar, and it has got just one single route, and that's it. That's all from the nav bar perspective. Okay, so as we can see over here, if I just write localhost 1000, this is the default page that gets open because of this particular function based view which we just now saw. Simply it gives call to the base.html. That's all. So now let's move on the app that is called stream app, and here is my stream app. Let me open that, and I would love to also open the JavaScript AJAX file, because this is also the one that is the sole attention. Let me close all these things so that it will be easy for me to explain what the thing is. Well, at the very beginning of the project, it's already started. I mean, AJAX already got loaded because the document is ready. If I click over here, come to the inspect and go to the console, you will find AJAX script loaded. So that is because of this particular function ready query. Ready function has allowed this particular thing to get loaded immediately when the page got loaded in the browser. Now these are the event based invocations, so we have to wait until the event been fired. Okay, let's move on to the urls.py and of the app. Let me close this and let me open the app urls.py, and here it comes. Well, this is the empty route. Localhost 1000 will bring me over here, and let me go to the function. Well, I can move directly over here as well. So this is a function stream list, and here it is. As you can see over here, just a couple of lines are there. By default, every function based view has got a request parameter coming from HTTP request, and it returns a template, so it will be an HTTP response. Well, over here, as you can see, this is giving a call to my ORM. The left hand side is a model. Well, let me show you even the model also. Nothing very hi-fi, just a name attribute and couple of date time that will be generated automatically. The first one will be generated the time when we create an instance, and the second one will reflect the time when the instance get updated. Okay, and that's all. So over here I'm giving a call to my model. This is the mapper, the object mapper that connects the model and the ORM. This is the ORM function which will bring all the tuples from the model stream and will store inside this variable in the form of query set that is coming from django.db.model.query. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this particular template, and I would redirect this particular data in the form of dictionary to my template. So let me open the add-stream.h, and for that reason we come to our stream app, and I just have got only one template for this particular app. That means inside this template I will be performing all the 4 CRUD operation: create, retrieve, update, delete. Let me show you how the template is. This is the template. Well, previously this particular template was pretty long template, but it has really cut short to a very small amount. And see, nothing is there, just even less than 45 line of code. It's very neat and clean. Well, I will go through all its portion, don't worry about that, and I will even show you the magic that I just came out, and finally the long code has been reduced drastically to a smaller one. Okay, so let me show you even the browser as well. Here it is, and as I move on to the route stream, immediately I get to localhost 1000/stream, and I'm able to see the data that is there in the table currently. That also has been shown over here, and here I have option to give the input which will be stored inside the SQLite database. Okay, so in this particular project I'm just using the DB SQLite 3, as you can see over here, and it has just got couple of entries over here. So as I add more record, this particular table will further expand. Okay, now let me tell you about this particular template. And before I explain the template, as you can see over here, I did not give any input, but it is showing me the existing value. So let me talk about the table creation first, and then I will come back to the insert operation. So you can see over here very small code snippet I've used from the bootstrap, and just you can see bootstrap table strap border, table strap border, table border. As you can see over here, there is a border is there in the table, and the strap means even odd combinations is there. So that's how the strap has been done. So over here, and the table class type is dark. It has got 3 columns: stream name, edit and delete. That what you can see over here, stream name, edit and delete. That's good. And now what I have done is I have created one table body, and I have identified this particular table body. I have given a name to this because later on I need to update this table when I will be inserting a record directly over here. So once I insert that and I click on save button, then this particular table need to be updated. So for that reason I have given one ID to the table tag. Now if you look over here, what I've done, just like the way in my base.html, let me take you, I gave a call to the nav bar. In the same manner, I'm giving a call to another file, that is, well, I've created a folder called partial, and I just gave a name called partial, and inside that I have a file called stream-row. I'm just calling that particular file. That's all. I'm simply calling that file. Now it's okay, I can call that file, and I will show you what is the file content. Here it is. I will make you understand all these things. But let me tell you one important thing over here, that is, while this particular file is calling this particular template, and if I take you back to my urls.py, so this is my route, and as I click over here, we pass one dictionary into this template. So this dictionary came over here, but if you see, I did not do any operation with that dictionary, isn't it? The name of the dictionary is called streams. Did I do any operation over here? Well, there is no hidden statement over here. Actually, I did not do any operation. But since you are calling this particular template from this file, and this file has got this this particular dictionary, so this dictionary can be even transferred to this corresponding file as well. And that's the reason why, as I move to this file, you will find over here I have got streams. So let me tell you one thing again. This view, this function based view, is passing passing dictionary to this particular template, and this template has given a call to another template. So consider this to be the base template. This is the derived template. So base template can forward data to the derived template, can't it? Just like object-oriented programming, the base class providing data to the derived class, same thing happening. So that particular dictionary has been forwarded to this file, and eventually this file is forwarded to this particular template. So hence it comes over here, and this is a multi-dimensional array where we have got a couple of rows. So at each iteration it picks up one row at a time, store it inside this particular variable, and here we are doing the string interpolation for the name, and we are also doing this this is just a name. As you can see over here, this is the name, and then I have got edit and delete, which I am doing over here. So if you see this line, this is for the edit and this is for the delete button, and this thing I have repeated. So as many number of record are there in this double dimension matrix, that means number of time the iteration will work on. And in case if there is no data initially, so in that case it will be showing that no stream data available. Okay, but at this point of time, since there are a couple of data, so that's the reason there has been iteration over here twice, and it has shown you the data over here plus the edit and delete button. Well, up to this is in fact a very good thing for me, because previously I have to write this code right over here, and again I have to rewrite this code in my jQuery, in my AJAX. But you will see that this time I don't have to do that. I just wrote it only one time inside my template. Okay, so it's really reduced the code drastically down. That is point number one. Point number two, I did come across two important attributes inside the HTML button over here. One is the data-id and other one is data-name. So what I'm doing over here, Well, when you will click on this button, let me show you over here. When you will be clicking on this button, you need to identify which button did the user click. So how do you identify that? Unless and until this button has got some unique identifier. Similarly, there can be number of records, out of which if you are deleting one particular record, the system need to identify that record out of n-1 record. So how do you do that? And for that reason, there are special attribute that has been introduced in HTML5 that is called data-id and data-name. Inside this, you can store variables, and these variables will be collected by JavaScript. I repeat, as you can see over here, I have done the loop over here. From this array, I'm picking up one row at a time, storing it over here. I'm printing the name, and inside this I also have got stream ID, right? Because every row, every table has got by default one column that is called ID, as you can see over here. So this 12, 13, these values has been passed inside this ID. Then over here 13 has been passed, over here 13 has been passed, and the respective name has been given over here. So that's the first row. Again, when it goes up, the next 13 replaced by 14 will be over here. Associated name for that will be given over here, and 14 will be over here again. So these attributes are responsible for holding data coming from the backend, and this data can be provided to the JavaScript. You will see that JavaScript will collect the data, or jQuery will collect the data from this attribute. So undoubtedly this is a very, very important change that I have taken, and it has helped me a lot, and it has drastically reduced the number of codes in the previous program. Okay, got it? So that's how we understood that from the base class, data can pass to the derived class, and the derived class can hold those data, and they can forward this data later on to the JavaScript. So that's all in context to the display part, and as you can see over here, that's how the display has been done, and because of that reason you are able to see these records. Okay, I will go to the edit part, don't worry, but let's proceed with the insertion part. So now if I give an input over here, and I will click on this button, so if I give the input, let's come back to my page again. If I give an input over here and click on the submit button, then what will happen? But before that, let me show you a couple of things. First of all, you are sending data to the server, so for that reason you are using form tag, and we know that when we are using form tag, server would send us a CSRF token which will actually stay hidden over here. So if I click on over here, go to the view page source, you will find the CSRF token is right over here, as you can see. So this token has been provided by server to your form so that it is actually secure. So cross-site request forgery. Now if you see over here, there is a hidden text box. Well, this particular input text box will not hold any data by the user. It will be holding data when I will click on this edit button. So when I will click on this edit button, at that point of time, this particular variable will be initialized, stream.id, and that's what I'm checking over here, that I have to pass it over here so that from here it can be collected by JavaScript. Okay, when we move to the AJAX function. So at this point of time, I am not working on the edit part, so this variable will remain uninitialized. Okay, so at the time when you are saving data, it will remain uninitialized until and unless you click any of this button. Only when you will click this button, then this particular variable will get initialized, because as you can see over here, I have gone for the string interpolation. So stream.id, so stream.id will be the one that will hold the data, right? So that's what I'm telling over here, that is over here I have a variable called stream ID. Well, later on I will assign the value, but at this point of time there is no value associated, because this is the time when I'm going to save the data. Now over here I have a text box who will be responsible for taking input from the user. So let's consider that I will be giving an input over here. Say for example, I'm giving input called suppose BCA, and as I click on submit button, what will happen at that point of time? Well, remember my jQuery is running behind the scene. So the moment you will click on the submit button, this button has the name called stream_register_btn. Immediately that would get called, AJAX will get called, and see over here, this is the event that will be getting fired because user has clicked the button, and the control will come right over here. So let me show you what other thing I'm doing. Well, the page will not be reloaded, so event.prevent default restrict the reloading of the page, and that is what the purpose of asynchronous communication is. Well, since you are sending data, you are not editing, so for that reason this variable will not have any data, and over here I have a stream name. So that means that whatever input I have given over here, as you can see, the name of the text box is stream name. Is that what I'm mentioning over here, that whatever input user has given, please collect the data, and in case if there is a blank space on either side, remove that and store it inside this variable, right? The same way I showed you that when we pass this form to the backend, or the backends in the form, they will forward us a CSRF token, which we can see right over here. But this particular token attribute don't have an ID attribute, so for that reason we have to pick this particular name. So with the help of the input name, we will collect this particular name, and once we get this name, then later on I can collect the value as well. So I will be using this name attribute, and this is the name that has been given by default. Okay, this is the default name. So that what I'm writing over here is, with the help of input, the name of the input text box is this, collect the value and store it inside this particular variable called CSRF. Got it? So now let's come to the if condition. So if I'm telling that if user by any mean did not give any input, in that case it will be blank. That means no input is present over here. If no input is present over here, it will give a message called stream name cannot be empty, and that message will stay, and there will be it will stay for 2 seconds, and then it will disappear, and it would be red in color. So let me show you that, provided that, imagine I did not give any input over here. Let me clear the page once again. I did not give any input, and if I click on this save button without giving any input, the red message comes, the stream name cannot be empty, stays for a while, and then it goes off, and that is because of this particular portion. Now imagine if user has given the name as the token is also valid, then it will come to the AJAX part. In fact, the AJAX code has drastically come down. Okay, this was not the code previously, but this time it has come down drastically. Okay, let me tell you what this particular parameter is all about, or the key is all about. As you can see over here, I have just got only one button. So that means I will be using this button for the purpose of saving the record as well as for updating the record. So now the question comes is that the save operation and the update operation are two different operations, right? So how will you differentiate that which operation is being performed? I mean, are you going to perform a save operation, or you're going to perform update operation? So how will you decide that? And that simple decision will be taking place with the help of the variable called stream ID. At this point of time, the stream ID do not hold any value, because I'm going to perform addition, I mean going to insert a record. So for that reason, this is the ternary operator or conditional operator. So this do not have any value. So in that case, this particular segment will not work. Rather, it will give a call to /stream and /add. So that means it will give a call to the insert operation. Just a second. So the data will be, so this is a route that will be fired. We will come to the URL. As you can see, the add operation is there. The word stream is coming from the project route. Well, let me show you about that as well. So here is the stream. Okay, so you're giving a call to the add route. So this is the add route that you are giving a call over here, and you have a function over here that will be saving data. In fact, this function you have seen even before also, but still. So this is the way you determine which particular route you will be taking, provided you have just got only one button, and that's most professional way of doing it. The form of sending data would be post. You don't want to expose the data in the URL bar, so for that reason your data sending will be post. Well, initially at the time of insertion data, at that time of stream underscore ID will not have any value. It will remain without any value. You have given the name in the text box, that is collected. You have given the CSV token, that is collected. So up to this, all the things are done, and then the record goes to where? To this particular function based view add. So let's come over here. Add is the route, and here is my function based view. So this is the function that is going to work now, and this function you already know very well, but still I just want to revise one more time. Well, the button you have clicked, so the post request is true. The control comes over here. First, it will collect the data that you are forwarding, that is in the form of stream underscore name. So that's what this particular form did. Stream underscore name, whatever data you have given, it's got stored inside this, and I'm considering that data is there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If data is not there, then string cannot be empty. This would be forwarded, and it will forward it to the status 400. That means this particular response will get stored inside AJAX, and that too inside the error part, because status 400 has been given. But I'm not sending any blank data, so in that case this particular condition is not going to work. So I've given a stream name. Now comes the question that what if the stream name which you have given that already exists. In that case, stream.object.filter, the filter is working like a where condition in SQL. Select star from table name where id equals to something. So this name actually stands for the model. In the model you have got the attribute called name, that what you are calling, okay, and whatever input you have given, that what I'm comparing, and I'm checking whether there exists any tuple. If there is no tuple, then it is good enough, it will proceed gradually down. But if there is a tuple, then it will come to the exist part and it will say the stream with this name already exists. So let me show you that even. So suppose over here I have got the stream called btech. So let me write over here once again btech, which is already there. So as I click over here, it says stream with this name already exists, so it will not be allowed to insert, because after this you would just terminate from here. So with this message, it again is going to the status is the error part. That means it will come to the AJAX error part and it will get stored over here. This is the variable that will hold the data that is coming from the backend, and inside this reference there is a property called response JSON, because you have got the JSON data, and this message is a message that you have written over here. See, you have written the key message, so that will be picked up and that will be shown in the div tag which I have mentioned in my base.html. So let me show you that even. So in my add underscore stream over here, I have got an empty div tag, and this div tag will be used for displaying all form of messages that will be coming from the server. So that message will be shown right over here. So that's how in case if the stream does match, that will be happening. But what if it does not match? Well, in that case there is no record existing. Then straightforward, save the data in the table, and after saving you collect the data as well as the existing data that is there in the model and store inside this particular reference variable. And then we are going for a string interpolation, because I have to send this data to my AJAX. So for that reason we are doing string interpolation. As you can see over here, that this is my data set. From here I did the string interpolation, and after doing the string interpolation I have got a list of dictionaries, and this list of dictionaries is what I'm going to forward. And since I'm forwarding it to the AJAX, and for that reason it is called JSON response, because AJAX is going to access the data in the form of JSON response, and this is my key and this is the corresponding value that I'm going to send. So this value will be coming and getting stored inside the AJAX success part. Inside the success, inside this response, the data would be getting stored. Okay, remember this entire data that you have forwarded, this whole after list comprehension, this data is going to store inside this AJAX variable. Well, I am doing some cleaning stuff. I don't have this id variable hold any data, so still I'm making it blank. The text box name will be blank. I'm giving a name, a caption called stream register, which you can see right over here, stream register. So this caption I've given over here, and the button I've given the caption as save. So button is called save. Later on if you click on the edit, it will get updated. And now what I'm doing is that I'm giving acknowledgement in my div tag stating that I saved the record successfully. The color would be green, it will stay for 2 seconds and the message will get fed off. And after that I'm giving a call to a special route which I will come, but let me save the record and then I will come back over here. So now let's consider I am going to save in the form of btech, suppose btech underscore CSE. I'm just writing this and I click on this. So the record gets saved and it's green in color, stays for 2 seconds and then it goes off. So that's how this particular segment actually gets displayed. Fine. And now what I have to do is that I have to show the complete record that is there in my table. Just now I inserted one record. I have to update my this table, right, with the previous data, with the new data. I have to update this. So again I have to give a call to a route. Previously what I used to do is that I used to give a call to another AJAX. So an AJAX inside the AJAX was making the thing pretty dirty. Okay, I didn't like that approach. I was always looking for a compact one, and eventually I did come across another jQuery function, a wonderful function called $.get. So what this function is going to do is that it is going to call a specific route, so stream/get route and stream to project URL and get route. So it will come right over here. See over here I have a get route. It gives a call to a function called get stream route, which is very similar to the one which we saw before. So here also I'm collecting the data. So in case of stream list and this, hardly there is a much difference. So I'm collecting data, I'm storing this inside this, and I'm giving a call. This time I'm showing you a very important function over here. So I collected the data, I stored it inside this reference, and now I'm going to send the data. But the question is that this response will go back to AJAX, right? It comes from AJAX. I was still inside the success part, so the response will come back right over here. Or in fact, the response will come inside this particular argument called data, and keep it in mind that you are still inside the AJAX, so you need to have a JSON response. So for that reason, a very wonderful function I have found out that is called render to string. Well, this is the template that you want to render, and this is the data that you want to pass to this particular template. So what you have done is that this whole thing you converted into a string format. Yes, you rightly heard, this whole thing of converting to string format, and the string variable is this particular variable I have given as HTML. You're free to choose whatever name you want, and now you're forwarding this as a form of JSON response where the key is HTML and the value is also HTML. So what the beauty of this particular function did is that it has stated that which particular template or which particular file you have to call, and at the same time it also have stated that the data will come from this particular dictionary, and there where the rendering will be taking place. If you remember, this place is this particular file which already the rendering was taking place. So that's how this has been forwarded, and this entire thing is forwarded for JSON response, and this result actually come and got stored inside this data. Right now what we are doing, we have created one div tag, I mean a table tag inside my add stream. So if you remember, there is a table tag, and this table tag is now I have identified so that the whole thing I can pass on over here. So that's what I did over here. So I identify the table tag, and inside this table whatever data that I have received, inside this I have a variable called, I mean a key called HTML. As you saw over here, there is a key called HTML. This is a key called HTML. So I'm giving a call that data. This is the local variable that holds the data over here. Data in the data, the HTML is there. So convert the entire thing right over here. So what this is basically doing, well, this is again coming back right inside your HTML, because this is the place which you have given, and this time you are not calling, I mean previously what we have seen, we are calling this template, so the data came to this template, eventually it was passed over here, but now I did not call this, but I called this one, but since it is inside this, so I have to pass this data. So I just forward this data directly into this template. So naturally when this particular line will get invoked, automatically the data which I have passed on will be forwarded to this, and as a result this entire rendering will take place. So this is all happening internally, and this is much more compact way of doing it, isn't it? This is very compact way of doing it. So let me tell you once again what actually happened. So if you see over here, a call came from AJAX. This AJAX is giving a call to another route. So this is a route that we are giving a call. So control came to this route, eventually came to this particular function, and here what we are doing is that we are collecting all the data of the given model, and that's what I'm passing. But along with that, I'm also going to pass that which particular template who is going to render this. I'm going to mention this, but the question is that this is a path, and I'm supposed to send a JSON response. So what I'm doing over here is I'm converting this whole thing, that is a path as well as the data, into a string format, and that has been done by this special function called render to string, that is coming from Django.template.loader. And after that I created this variable called HTML, and that's what I'm forwarding in the form of JSON response in the form of key value pair. So this entire thing will now receive by this particular data variable, and then what I'm doing is that I'm targeting this div tag, which is my table tag over here, and inside that I'm going to populate. So here I targeted my table tag, and this table tag has got this particular template, so control will go to that template, and already we have passed the data, we passed this particular data, so that data again comes over here, and we perform a loop, and eventually this template, this particular table got rendered with the updated data, and that's how we really avoided the calling of AJAX inside AJAX. Okay, so if you now see, your AJAX file is all done. That was the only thing that we have to do it. So it is much better way of doing it. Okay, so in this particular video I have kept up to this I have covered in fact the major part. So I'm left with again these two functions called edit and delete, and we will see that how these values are going to work, because when I will be clicking on the button edit, so when I will be clicking on the button edit, so what will happen at that point of time, or when I will click on the button delete, what is going to happen at that point of time, that what we are going to see. Okay, but before that, let me tell you, this has been a real nice finding for me, because I always try to reduce the code so that there is a very less amount of redundancy, and finally thankfully that I have been able to reduce it drastically down. So make sure go through this video once again, try to follow what I have said, and try to understand how this AJAX is really working under the hood with the help of this particular function, and how this partial table or the partial file loading is helping me to reduce a lot of code. Okay, so that's all from this video presentation. See you soon. Bye bye.